Assalamu alaikum. I'm Fatima Sattar. You're watching Filmain Waghera and this is Behind the Film. In my previous video, I gave a brief introduction to Studio Ghibli. Now that these films can be streamed through Netflix, they are becoming more popular than ever. Apart from them being broadly classified as anime, these films have distinct styles and characteristics. I talked about The Wind Rises, which is an example of a narrative built around war. Another example of such a narrative against war is The Grave of Fireflies, which is directed by Isao Takahata, who is the lesser-known co-founder of Studio Ghibli along with Hayao Miyazaki. The Grave of Fireflies is my personal favorite because it's a beautiful tragedy set against the backdrop of World War II. I would definitely recommend you to watch it in case you haven't already. But it's not like all of Studio Ghibli films are about war. In fact, most of them have magical and fantasy elements to them. Some inspired from Japanese folklore and mythology, while some are completely fictional. Together, these make up the magical world of Ghibli. But at the same time, the animation style keeps certain details very realistic, like the background and some other details. This realism is best described in Miyazaki's own words, which I quote, "Anime may depict fictional worlds, but I nonetheless believe that at its core it must have a certain realism, even if the world depicted is a lie. The trick is to make it seem as real as possible. The animator must fabricate a world that seems so real, viewers will think the world depicted might possibly exist." Hence, you'll see very real elements whenever you're watching these films, whether it's a sunset, a reflection, or some cityscapes, etc., etc. I will be talking about Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke with respect to their magical elements, most of them driven from Japanese folklore and mythology. Spirited Away is probably the most popular Studio Ghibli film. It won the Academy Award for the Best Animated Feature.
And the Oscar goes to, let's see, Spirited Away, Hayao Miyazaki.
It has been adapted into English. By the way, most of these films on Netflix have the English dubbed version, but I personally prefer them with the Japanese audio and English subtitles because I find that more original, and I think those voice artists are amazing. It begins with Chihiro, who is a grumpy 10-year-old moving into a new town with her parents. They stop outside what looks like an abandoned amusement park, but in reality it's a spiritual world, which Chihiro realizes when it's too late. Her parents get turned into pigs. Now it's up to Chihiro to find a way out. With the help of Haku, who is a river spirit, she manages to survive in this world. She finds work in a bathhouse that is run by a witch. There are constant influences from Japanese folklore, Shinto, and Buddhism in this film. From animals like frogs to pigs to dragons, which are all important animals in Japanese folklore. The bathhouse where Chihiro works is for a variety of kamis and other mythological creatures. This film also has a very interesting comment on pollution. In one of the scenes, a stink spirit comes to the bathhouse and Chihiro removes a bicycle and lots of other trash from it, which helps it restore to its original form, and it in fact is a river spirit. So this is actually a comment on how we dump so much trash into rivers, corrupting them forever. This film has a lot of analysis-worthy elements. For example, Yubaba, the bathhouse witch, has a baby who she keeps locked up in a cushioned room, protected from the world outside. Once the baby sees what's outside, he likes it. So this is probably a comment on overprotective parenting, where you end up damaging the child more than benefiting them. This film also talks about hard labor and how in order to earn something, you have to work hard for it, even if you're only 10 years old. Princess Mononoke is a 1997 Studio Ghibli film. It's about a boy Ashitaka who is from an already endangered tribe. He gets cursed by a demon while trying to protect his village from it. He goes to look for the forest spirit in order to get healed. On his journey, he sees a conflict between nature and humans. A thriving forest is threatened by Iron Town, which is a group of humans who want to destroy that mountain for iron. The forest is home to the forest spirit, the Kodamas, which are spirits that inhabit old trees, the ape tribe, and a lot of other creatures, but most importantly, a wolf family that has a human child, that is Princess Mononoke. The idea of an animal raising a human child is a common theme, but this one's distinct to Japanese folklore. The wolf is seen with two tails, which is how the wolf's age was represented in Japanese traditions. The wolves and Princess Mononoke constantly fight against humans in order to protect the forest. All of these animals are influenced by Japanese mythology. Later on, a boar tribe comes into the story, the boar again being a very significant animal in Japanese traditions. The apparent antagonist, Iboshi, who is the lady who runs Iron Town, is somebody who's very progressive and modern. It is very intelligent how this plot has so many layers to it, and Iboshi herself is painted gray. There is a good and humane side shown to her. She hires girls from brothels and gives them work and a safe life in Iron Town. She even hires lepers and looks after them. So the battle between nature and humans is shown in its true complex state, where when you're destroying nature to make money, at the same time you might be benefiting some people, and not everything is so black and white how films normally show, with the distinction between good and bad being very clear. Princess Mononoke shows how truly complicated things are. This was just a brief about how Studio Ghibli incorporates inspirations from Japanese folklore and mythology. In reality, these films have so many things that can be talked about, analyzed. It's education on another level. In my next video, I will be talking about the feminist aspect to Studio Ghibli, how a lot of these films have strong, empowered female protagonists. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please subscribe to Filmain Waghera. Thank you.